Welcome everyone to the Remote Therapy Summit. My name is Dr. Emma Shapiro. I'm a physical therapist. I also run debtfreept.com, which during this time, I actually created a job board that has travel jobs, remote jobs, contract jobs, permanent full-time jobs on there, over 300 jobs right now on there. And I'm working with about 15-ish companies to try to continue to bring jobs there that you can find to hopefully help you during this time. I also help run with Dr. Mike Chua, a good friend of mine, Alternative Healthcare Careers, which is where we help people discover non-clinical careers and maybe unique avenues like remote therapy careers, like home health or mobile therapy practices, telehealth, utilization reviewers, so many things. And I'm just really excited to share this summit with everyone because I was inspired by the need for us to shift to online. And so I'm so excited to share our first speaker, Bert here, who's going to share all of his amazing accolades. But his talk is just the perfect way to kick off this summit because he's going to talk about how you can choose what to do based on your personality. And so really figuring out yourself before you can get started in whatever you want to do, whether it be a remote therapy business or not. So welcome, Bert. And you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Emma, for having me here. First and foremost, thanks for putting this together. And guys, I thank you for joining us this afternoon. And I'm really excited about this topic because like Emma said, this is a good start because you will hear about different business models after today, right, Emma? There's going to be speakers about different business models. So sometimes there's so much models around us to where you don't know where to look, right? You open Facebook and bam, there's another model. You open this, then you see another one. And you're like, you don't know where to start, right? So I'm going to simplify things for you. And I'm going to share with you in a little bit my lean method, okay? This is the lean method on how I assess any rehab business and actually any business for that matter, because I just don't do rehab business. I'm also in the real estate, flipping house and all that. So guys, I want you to stay at the very end of this webinar so you can see the link to download this free PDF, okay? And just to let you guys know, this is pure teaching this afternoon. There's nothing for sale here. This is not a sales pitch. I'm just going to give you pure value on how to evaluate any rehab business model. Okay. So if you ask me, okay, Bert, what businesses have you started? I've started obviously home health contract business. I've done rehab consulting. I've done retail, believe it or not. We were inside groceries refilling those ink cartridges because they're so expensive, right? 30, 40 bucks. We would refill them for $8, $10, stuff like that. And I had spaces in different grocery stores, HEB all over Texas, okay? And then now I'm into real estate investing. I'm flipping a house. I'm also going to create a video of what I've learned in flipping this house from the start to the end, if I made money or if I didn't make money. Okay, so watch out for that. So, Emma, you want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah, let's share your screen here. Lots of people coming on, but yeah, I'm so excited. Everyone, Bert's going to share his presentation here, and like he said, this is all about just trying to teach you how you can sort of analyze yourself and really make sure that you're going on the right path. Because there are so many things out there. You've got mobile practice, telehealth, home health, health coaching. You've got, if you just want to do like video editing now, that's really coming popular. And so there are all these avenues that it can be overwhelming. And so we're going to try to use Bert's method to help you make sure that the path you choose fits with your personality, fits with your goals, fits with your, the lifestyle that you want, so that hopefully you can be really successful. Because a lot of us are maybe thinking about switching or transitioning to something different because of burnout. But the thing is, it's very easy in something new to still be burnt out. But if you choose the right path based upon sort of how your personality works and how your goals are, then hopefully will help prevent that second burnout.
That's right. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and start, and this is going to be very informal. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat box. It's going to be in the bottom right, Emma?
Yep, perfect. And I see your screen here and I see your presentation there.
Okay, so guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. It's go time. So how do you assess any rehab business opportunity? Okay, based on what you want and your personality. I put that in there because not every business is a cookie cutter. Okay, not everyone will want just any business. It has to be based on what you want and your personality. Otherwise, you'll be jumping into any business that comes your way, and that's not good. Okay, so again, at the end of this presentation, you're gonna get the free cheat sheet on this lean method. So stay with us, don't go anywhere. My lean method, okay? I use this to assess any rehab business. And I think I didn't mention earlier, I've been doing business since 2003. I've been a PT since 1998. This is my 22nd year as a therapist. I can't believe it. I'm a veteran, right? so, so businesses I've started, I've mentioned it earlier. For those of you who came late, the businesses I've started so far since 2003 is home health contracting, rehab consulting, retail, and now real estate investing, okay, which is flipping houses specifically. All right, so a little bit about me, guys. I've been a PT since 1998. There's my Texas license. I was an employee for the first 6 years of my career from 98 to 03. So if you ask me, do I understand how it is to be an employee? Of course, been there, done that, got the t-shirt for it, right? I know how it is to do the 40 hours, 60 hours grind. Matter of fact, the longest working hours I did was 21 days straight. Can you believe that? 21 days straight, talk about burnout. So that's when they couldn't find a PT to help us out. So I was working 21 days straight. That's unforgettable, you know? So I went solo in mid-2003 because of that experience, actually. After the 21 days experience, I was like, how long will I be doing this, right? So in mid-2003, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go solo. I'm going to start a business. So that's the year I did my startup, okay? All right. On a personal level, I'm a husband to my awesome wife. There she is. Mm-hmm. That was during our anniversary. We went to Niagara Falls in Canada. She's also in the healthcare field. She's a nurse. She's an RN. I'm a father to our two awesome kids, our daughter, Ferry, and our son, Andre, you know, the rascals. So I play guitar. As you can see, I don't know if you saw my video earlier on ACG. I like playing guitar, even though the guitar doesn't want me to play. So.
No, I thought it was good. You did well. You did really well.
Sports-wise, I love tennis. I play tennis 2 to 3 times a week, but because of this COVID thing, I haven't been able to play, obviously. And I love the water. I love fishing. We are 15 minutes away from the Gulf of Mexico here in Corpus Christi. The Naval Army base is down here. This is where they train Navy pilots. So we're right by the Gulf, the ocean.
Oh, cool.
Yep. All right. So let's keep going. What do you really want? Okay. What do you want as a therapist when you're assessing any business? Okay. What do you want? I ask these questions because there are only two ways or 2 things you're going to be. Okay. The first thing is, do you want to be a technician who does all the work? Okay. And I don't mean this in a derogatory way, whether you like it or not. If you're doing all the work, you're like the technician, right? You do the work. Or do you want to be the entrepreneur? Meaning, do you want to be the one providing the work? Okay. There's only one of these 2 choices here. Either one. Either you're a technician, you do all the work, or an entrepreneur where you build your team and you provide all the work. Okay? So, your personality. Let's do a 1-2 question test. All right? First question. Do you like rules set for you and you just follow the rules? Okay? Second question. Do you want to set your own rules and lead your own team? Okay? Another question. Do you freak out when problems come your way? Right? Another problem, right? Never ending, right? Second question. Or can you stay calm and look for a solution to your problems, right? Another question. Do you look at having a lot of money and making a profit as a bad thing? This is very important, guys, because therapists have this love and hate relationship with money, right? A lot of therapists think that making a profit is bad because we're in the service industry. You're not supposed to make a profit. You're not supposed to make a lot of money. Is that you? Do you look at it as a bad thing, making a profit? Or are you comfortable making a profit and you see money as a tool? Which one is it? Okay. So remember your answers here. Either majority of your answers are 1 or a majority are 2, because it's going to play out on the next slide. Okay. All right. If your answer is mostly number 1, then you are on the left side of the quadrant that I'm about to show you. Okay. If your answer is mostly number 2, then you are on the right side of the quadrant. Okay. And what the heck is this quadrant? I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay. This is the cash flow quadrant. Okay. If you guys have heard of Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then he also wrote this book, Cash Flow Quadrant. Whether you like it or not, you belong to one of these quadrants. And the left side is a common trait. The right side is also another common trait based on your answer 1 and 2. Okay. So let's dive in. This is not my idea. This is my citation. Okay. I'm just borrowing this idea. The cash flow quadrant. The E quadrant on top stands for employee. Okay. This quadrant means you have a job. I would say 90% of us belong in this quadrant, right? Because that's how we were trained. Go to school, get your license, and what's the long-term goal? Find a job. Is that really what you want? Find a job, and that's it? Is that the long-term goal of being a therapist, looking for a job, and that's it? I don't know, not me. S quadrant stands for self-employed, okay? In this quadrant, you own a job, okay? Now, these are the solo clinic owners, the solopreneurs. They want things done by themselves. They don't want to delegate stuff. They don't want anyone touching their patients. They just them. Me, okay? If you answered number 1 on the previous questions, you're in this quadrant, employee, self-employed. Now, what's common with these two things? You are trading time for money, okay? If you don't put in the time, you don't get money. That's it. It all depends on you, okay? Now, if you answered mostly number 2 in the previous questions, you're on the right side of the quadrant. B stands for the business owner quadrant. As a business owner, you have a system that creates revenue, okay? Meaning you have others working for you or with you. In other words, should you stop to do the work, your crew, your team are continuing to bring you money. That's the business owner quadrant, okay? And I want to make this clear. Not because you registered a business name means you have a business. Anyone can go online, go to LegalZoom, register a name. Does that mean they have a business? Heck no. Okay? The only validation that you have a business is when you have others working for you should you decide not to work and money is still coming in. That's a business. If you stop working and there's no money coming in, you don't have a business. You have a job. Okay? You own a job. You're on the left side of the quadrant. That's the truth. And I don't mean that in a bad way. If that's what you want to do, that's why it's based on your personality and what you want to do. And hey, to each his own, right? I totally respect that. But is it really what you want to do? Only you can answer that, right? Now, the last part of the quadrant is the I quadrant, the investor quadrant. In this quadrant, money works for you, guys. This is where you see the venture capitalists, the Shark Tank, okay? I'm in this quadrant right now, partly because I'm investing in real estate. I bought a house. I hired a contractor to flip it, fix it, and I'm hoping I'm going to make money. I'm going to show that in the video later on. But I wouldn't have been in this quadrant as an investor if I did not make money as a business owner. Okay. So it's like a corridor principle. Because I made money as a business owner, I now have extra money to invest. This is the power of being in the right side of the quadrant. And I'm not saying that to brag or to boast, but I'm saying this to show you guys the possibility. When you own a business, you can use that business money to invest in another business, like real estate investing. Okay? So, what's common between these two quadrants, the business owner investor quadrant? You make money without trading time. Okay? You make money because you have a system that works for you. It's bringing in money, right? Okay. So now that you realize, oh crap, I'm on the left side of the quadrant. I want to move to the right side of the quadrant. How do I do that? Right? So if you're that person, you want to move to the right side of the quadrant, you can use the lean method to figure out what business fits you. Okay? And we're going to go there. All right. So lean method, LEAN, is an abbreviation that I came up with. If you guys have heard of the Lean Startup book, it's not that. Okay? It's not that. I just came up with this, okay, lean method, but Lean Startup book is actually a good book, but I came up with this, okay? So let's go ahead. L stands for leverage, okay? If you want to write this down, you can, but you don't have to. Like I said, you're going to get the PDF link at the end of this webinar. So L stands for leverage, okay? Can you delegate the task? If you're looking at any business model, the first question you need to ask, the L word, is leverage. Can you delegate the task? If the answer is no, I cannot delegate the task, I have to be the one doing it all the time, I tell you right off the bat, if that's me, I won't even look at it. I'm not going to waste time looking at it. Because as an entrepreneur, you always look for leverage. As an entrepreneur, that's the first thing you should look for. Is there leverage? Leverage, leverage, leverage. Okay, that's the power of entrepreneurship. If you don't find leverage and you cannot delegate the task, then it's a no for me. It's like Shark Tank, right? I'm sorry, but it's a no for me. I'm out, right? So the answer is either yes or no. All right? How soon can you delegate the task? If the answer is yes, how soon? Can you delegate the task right after you start the business? Or do you have to wait 1 year, 2 years, build your caseload before you can start delegating? Okay? I personally, my rule of thumb, I don't go beyond 90 days. Okay? My home health contract startup can be executed in as little as 30 days. Medicare Part B mobile setting is 60 to 90 days. So 90 days is my max. Okay? If it takes me more than 90 days to be able to delegate a task, it's a no for me. Okay? So how soon can you delegate it? All right. Now, under leverage, what are you supposed to consider? You're supposed to consider, number one, scalability. Okay? Can you duplicate yourself quickly? Or again, are you going to be the only main worker? Okay? There's a picture I'm going to share shortly. It looks funny, but it's cloning, right? Can you clone yourself quickly? Okay? If you start a business today or this week and you got everything set up company-wise, next week, can you duplicate yourself? Yes or no? If the answer is no, might be a no for me. Okay? All right. We're going to go fast. Letter E on the lean method, execution. How fast can you execute? Okay? How long does it take before you can execute in a business? Meaning you can start getting patients, you can start bringing in revenue. Okay? You have to consider the capital required. Okay? Any business requires money. If you think no business requires money, guys, you need to think twice. If you're the type where you think everything is free, the saying, you get what you pay for is true, right? Nothing is free. Yeah. Okay? As far as business is concerned, you have to have skin in the game no matter what. Okay? let me tell you this, just real quick. Our professional loan as PTs, OTs, and SLPs, right? Did it come free? No. You guys probably still paying student loans, right? And you invested, what, 4 years, 5 years? And then you look for a job, and then you're probably still paying it, right? So I just want to tell you real quick, nothing is free. You have to have skin in the game. So going back, capital required. How much money will it cost you to get started? Okay, you have to ask that. Now, if you're someone who wants to do everything on your own, even with businesses, like trying to figure out, how do I do this, trial and error, okay? I guarantee you can probably do it, okay? Because we're therapists, we find solutions, right? But you'll probably do it longer. Why did I put plumber versus DIY here? Let me use that as a metaphor. If something goes wrong at your house and, you know, plumbing starts leaking, the pipe starts leaking, you can go YouTube, figure out what's wrong, go to Home Depot or Lowe's, figure it out and fix it. And then your DIY can turn into a nightmare, right? Or hire a plumber who's an expert in what they're doing, make sure it's done right, and get it done real quick, right? Both require money, but you will probably pay more to the plumber because of their expertise, right? So in any business, you have to ask yourself, do I pay an expert to help me out in doing this and execute quickly? Or do I figure this out on my own and doubt myself and have second thoughts? Crap, did I do it right? It's up to you. It's all about speed of execution. How fast do you want it done? All right? So, do you have the money to start, or do you have to get a loan? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. How much money is required to start any particular business model? All right? Okay, time commitment is another factor you need to consider, okay? Will it require you quitting your job and going all in? Your boss, I quit, right? Or can you start while working at your current job? Okay, can you do it? Can you do a side hustle? Okay, is it a high risk or low risk type of business model? You have to ask yourself. This is one of the parts of what we call cost of opportunity. How much time will it cost you to pursue an opportunity? Okay, so that's up to you. You have to figure that out. All right, A is for acceleration. How quick can you build your team? Again, if there's leverage, therefore, you're able to create a team. If there's no leverage, you won't have a team. You're going to be by yourself, right? So if you are able to build your team, how quick can you do that? Can you start hiring PRN therapists ASAP once you build your company? Or are you going to burn money paying someone on salary and hopefully, which is a bad strategy. Hope isn't a good strategy for business. If you hope that you're going to make money to pay your staff their salary, that's a bad idea. Okay? The best way to pay your team is pay them as they go, meaning as they bring in revenue, you use that revenue to pay them. Pay as you go model. Okay? So how quick can you build your team? All right? Speed of implementation, like I said earlier, how soon can you start? Do you need construction? Do you need a permit or a license? Do you need this to comply with city codes? Okay. I'm telling you right now, guys, I don't have a clinic. I don't have any office. I don't pay lease. I don't pay any rent, because to me, that's one of the biggest expenses of any business. Okay. Especially now with the COVID-19 thing, a lot of our colleagues, a lot of even other businesses are hurting, you know, because there's no money coming in and they still have to pay rent, right? Yes, it's true. The rents are suspended. Accounts are frozen. But I doubt it that once this thing is over, I doubt it that they're not going to come back and tell you, hey, we suspended it for 90 days, but you still have to pay us. Because you lease that space, right? Hopefully not. That would be the best case scenario. But whether you like it or not, if you're leasing something, you're tied up to it, right? All right. Another factor you have to consider is return on investment. When do you get your money back? Okay. At what point you get your money back? Let's go back to the school loan paycheck scenario. Okay. If you still have your school loan, and I know this is Emma's cup of tea.
Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you the ROI on my student loan.
So, and kudos to Emma. She's helping a lot of colleagues for, helping them be debt free and pay school loans. And I think that's a great thing you're doing, Emma. But going back to this, guys, if you compare your school loan compared to the paycheck you're getting from your work or anywhere, whatever setting you're in, okay, ask yourself, what's the ROI? If you invested $150,000 getting your degree, okay, how many years before you can pay off your student loans? Okay, when do you get your money back? Okay, so ask yourself that. So the other question you have to ask is, what's your burn rate? Guys, if you don't understand what's burn rate, it's negative cash flow. What it means is, let's say a restaurant, right? Any restaurant that just newly opened, you think they're going to have positive cash flow right away? No. It's negative cash flow. They have to pay the waitresses, the servers, the chefs, the rent. Maybe they're going to start making money after 2 to 3 years. The money they lose on the first 2 to 3 years is what you call your burn rate. Okay? So meaning, for example, if you have a clinic and your rent is $3,000 a month, okay? And the money coming in is only $1,500 a month. Therefore, you're short $1,500 to make the rent. Your burn rate is 50%. Okay? You need 50% of your rent to keep your business afloat. That's your burn rate. Now, if you have a business model that you're considering and burn rate is not a factor, meaning you won't lose money no matter what, then that's good. If your burn rate is 0, that's a very good business. Okay? But if your burn rate is more than 0, then you have to make sure you have enough bandwidth, you have enough budget, you have enough runway to keep the business going.
And that's like your employees, right, Bert? So this is an
Yes.
example of like if you had some employees,
Yes.
You're having to pay them. So you're taking that out. And so you just have to make sure that on top of what you're paying them, that you still have a positive at the end of the month.
Exactly. So
Gotcha.
I'm not a fan of salary, okay? Because with salaries, you are guaranteeing your staff that you're going to pay them whether you have, clients coming in or not. My model that I'm following is pay as you go, okay? That's why in the home health setting, whenever we have PRN therapists seeing patients for us, I can sleep well at night because I know that once they see these patients, I can bill for those patients and then use that money that we build to pay them back and then keep the profit, okay? I made that mistake on the first 3 years of my business. I used to have employees that they were salaried. Guess what? When the census went down and every 2 weeks we have to cut him a check, that's one of the most stressful situations I've been into. I couldn't sleep, okay? I was snapping left and right because I'm trying to figure out where the heck am I going to get the money. All right? So hard lesson learned for me.
That makes sense.
Yep. Okay, so the last part of the lean method, like I said, this is going to be very short and stands for no huge overhead. Overhead expenses is the number one killer of any business. Okay? Like I said earlier, if you have rent and you don't have enough money to cover that rent, you're going to have to start burning cash. And your burn rate can be very, very high. Okay? So, lean method, okay? Well, let's continue. Under no huge overhead, you have to do your risk assessment. What's the worst case scenario, guys? Okay, ask yourself for any business model. What's the worst case scenario? If there are no patient referrals, then what? Will you lose a lot of money? Okay, yes or no? Okay, be prepared, not scared. Okay, just be prepared and make sure you evaluate any worst case scenario in your business. All right. Okay. Next thing you have to consider is cash flow. Who's paying you? Who will pay you, and what's the billing process required to get paid? Okay. Who's paying you for the services? Is it Medicare? Is it insurance? Is it going to be cash, or is it going to be straight per diem invoice? Okay. So you have to consider that. Now, guys, I want to clarify something. Cash base is not business per se. Okay. Cash is a matter of, it's another transaction. It's like using your credit card, paying by check. Cash is just like any of those. Okay. Not because someone is paying you cash means you have a business. You have to dig deeper. Okay. What made that person pay you cash? Okay. Did you see that patient yourself? That's why they paid you cash. If you stop seeing this patient, are you still going to get cash? Again, leverage. Okay. Don't confuse yourself with the transaction. Okay. All right. To summarize it, lean method, leverage, execution, acceleration, and no huge overhead. Okay. You have to test it. Okay. Look to your left, look to your right, get your business model that you're considering, test it. Is it lean? Okay. If it doesn't pass the lean method, I personally won't do it. Now, if you don't care about the lean method, that's totally up to you. I'm just sharing what I use. Okay. All right. So the free lean method cheat sheet, you can go to this link right here. Actually, I can share it, Emma, on the chat room or chat box.
Yeah. Let's put it in the chat there. And everyone, we're going to still be on for a couple more minutes, so don't leave quite yet. We're just sharing this free cheat sheet, and then we can go over some example business models and that. But really quickly, if everyone could give Bert some love, let's see in the chat, like how is this awesome? How has this helped you? Is this is this sort of illuminating ideas for you, or inspiring you, or clarifying some things? Show Bert some love here.
I'm open for the questions, guys.
Yes.
We're going to do a Q&A.
And then also put your questions below. I think, Bert, going back to your method, like for me, there are several things, and I didn't want to interrupt your talk, but
sure,
but I think it's so important to ask yourself how all these things fit into your lifestyle and fit into your economics. Because a lot of you listening, I mean, you can put in the chat, like, are you working full time and you're sort of looking maybe to do this side hustle that flows into maybe then your side hustle becoming a full-time job. Like for me, when I started Debt-Free PT, that's sort of one of the reasons why I chose more of like a blogger route versus like maybe doing, an actual patient care route. It's just because I knew that I didn't have the bandwidth to do that at that time. I was still dealing with a lot of student loans, dealing with sort of trying to figure out, transitioning from travel physical therapy to permanent job. And so there are a lot of things. So I just wasn't ready, but I did want to seek that, that entrepreneurism. And once you start to realize how amazing entrepreneurism is and the potential, then it's sort of hard to leave it, but it's really good to try to figure out how it can fit into your family. Because trust me, it is not easy. And it's going to take a while to get used to things. And so definitely making sure that it's financially the right thing for you is so, so important.
Right. Guys, I just want to correct real quick. The link is rehabpreneur.com /lean, LEAN. So if you look at the chat box, the correct link is rehabpreneur.com /lean. The first link is actually broken. So,
and I will put that on the remotetherapiessummit.com page as well too. So if you go to Bert's talk, you'll be able to find that link there tomorrow. So we can put that there.
Does anybody have questions?
Awesome. Someone saying, thank you, Bert. It is very helpful to know we can integrate these principles. Oh, thank you so much, Elsa. We really appreciate that. That's really kind of you. Any questions so far? Like, what are some businesses people are wanting to get into? Like, does anyone have something that they're maybe wanting to dip their toes into and maybe a little intimidated? I'm not sure if it's, quite the right idea, let us know.
Yeah. While we're waiting for some questions, I can share real quick. What are the business models that I've pursued using this lean method? Okay.
Good. Go for that, Bert.
So there are 3 business models that passed this lean method. Okay. The first one, obviously, that I did is the home health contracting. Why is home health contracting a good business model for me, at least? Okay. L, leverage. Okay. I can delegate the task to other PTs, PTAs, OTs, OTAs, and SLPs. Okay. From day one of where we get the referral, the first referral we get, I can choose whether I see the patient myself as a PT, if it's a PT order, or I can go fishing and find a PT to do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's day one. I'm not going to wait years or months. Okay. Now, as an owner of the business, if I'm not okay with my budget and I want to make the first 40 visits of the week to be mine, I can do that because I'm the owner, right? But it also gives me the option, the leverage to delegate that should I want to delegate it. Okay? That's the power of leverage. Now, if you don't have that option because you're by yourself, for example, you're doing one-on-one cash, okay? And I'm not knocking down those cash practitioners, okay? I respect those guys. I have friends who do that. If you have a team as a cash practitioner that can see patients for you, hey, hats off to you. If you don't have a team and you can't delegate patients because your patients want you, meaning you are the product, I think that's a bad business model. It's like going to your favorite barber or hairdresser. Why do you go there? Because they are the product. They know your hair, right? They know how to cut your hair, how you want it. So if you have patients that want you because you are the product, then you can't have leverage because they want you. This is why they're paying cash, paying top dollar, right? So another business model is mobile Medicare Part B, okay, which I recently launched, and I'm helping others on how to get their Medicare Part B certification, okay? I'll be honest, at first I was very hesitant in doing Medicare Part B mobile. Why? Because I'm not into billing. I hate codes. I hate getting audited, and then you have to fight that audit and all that stuff, okay? But then I'm an entrepreneur. How can I solve the problem? How can I solve getting billing out of the way? Simple, outsource it, okay? Someone gets 10% out of my billing. I keep 90%, but they take care of the billing. They take care of any audits. Hey, I'm a happy man, right? Now, is there leverage in Medicare Part B mobile? Yes, okay? Once you have your group number as a Medicare provider, you will have your clinician number under that group. You can keep hiring PTs, OTs, and SLPs under your group, and you bill for whatever they see under your company for Medicare Part B beneficiaries. Okay, how do I make money? Okay, how do we make money? Well, first, let's start with the E. So you got L, right? E, execution. How do you execute Medicare Part B? 60 to 90 days. Send the application, boom, in 60 to 90 days, it's out of the way, okay? I provide that as a service as well. If you want to know more about that, reach out to me. You can text me. I'll give my number later on. 972, let's give it now. 972-649-9909. We can talk about it. But how do you execute? 60 to 90 days, get your Medicare license. Boom. A, acceleration. Okay. How can you accelerate? Now, once you get your Medicare number, you can now start hiring PTs, OTs, SLPs, and get them credentialed under your group number. Okay. No huge overhead. N. Okay. No huge overhead because it's mobile. Okay. On the Medicare Part B application, you can choose to click to treat patients at their homes. No facility. Okay. So it meets LEAN method. Okay. That's the second business. So I now have 2 businesses, home health contracting and Medicare Part B mobile. Okay. What's the third business model? VA, Veterans Affairs, okay, which we're about to do further research. If you can use PTAs and quotas and VA, that's a very good thing. Matter of fact, one of my students, Elsa, who's joining us this afternoon, is one of the experts in VA, and her and I are working together on that. Okay, so with the VA, Veterans Affairs, it's military budget. The military has their own budget. They have their own money, and there's a lot of veterans who cannot be reached by VA facilities. And therefore, when you become a provider with VA, TriWest, TRICARE, then they can give you all these patients that are in your area, veterans, and you bill VA, and you can still delegate, the visits to quotas and PTAs. Okay. So 3 business models: home health contracting, Part B mobile, VA. Okay. If you have these 3 versus 1 paycheck from your current work site or job, which ones you're going to choose? It's a no-brainer, right? Now, I'm not saying you should quit your job. Keep your job as much as possible. But you can start these 3 models as a side hustle while you're keeping your job. So 1 source of income, your paycheck, plus 3 sources of income that you can leverage. Okay, you can execute, you can accelerate with no huge overhead, lean method that gives you 4 sources of income.
Awesome. Boom, right there. Give it up for Bert.
Bam.
Woo, I like it. I like it. Thank you for really spelling that out and sort of walking us through sort of the thought process of those different businesses. We got a couple questions here. I'm blind as a bat, so I'm going to look slow. Let me find the first one here. Okay. Ginelyn, woohoo. Shout out for Ginelyn. She's part of our masterclass and she's amazing. So she says, I have online coaching for improving posture, balance, and decreasing fall risk, but it is not doing anything yet. I do not know what to do with it. I'm thinking I need to stop for now and revisit the possibility of putting it back later. Okay, we'll talk later, Ginelyn, 100%. But, it's tough. I'm going to tell you, as an entrepreneur, working full-time, balancing the side hustle, and trying to grow an audience is really, really difficult. So I'm going to give you some quick tips here, and then Bert, you can chime in because Bert is awesome. And shout out to Mike Chua. I think he just popped off, but thanks, Mike, for coming on. But so I was just speaking with someone who is selling a posture support for a chair. And I did basically a business analysis for him. And there's, I think, a couple big things that new entrepreneurs really struggle with in gaining audience. And I think one of the biggest ones is trying to start networking. And I really wish I would do this more. And it's on my things to do actually this week, is to network more. But if you're really struggling to get out there, try to think of who is a little bit higher up that ladder that maybe you can work with, maybe you can talk with, and maybe they will share some of your information. And you'll be surprised, that will skyrocket you. A lot of the people that you see that are new entrepreneurs, they're trying to find that person that is not quite super big. So I'm not talking Russell Brunson or Gary Vaynerchuk or for example, dementia is Teepa Snow. Those people are really, really high up there. But what about maybe just a little bit lower level where they're still really involved with their emails. They're still really involved with their social media and that. And who can you connect with from that? And maybe just send them a private message, start following them, start commenting on their posts, and maybe start, emailing them and creating a little bit of that relationship. And then they'll help share your ideas with the other audiences. And that'll really help you grow. Another thing is just consistency. And I say that because I'm a total hypocrite. I know I'm not as consistent as I need to be. I need to schedule my posts. but it's on my things to do. And, it's overwhelming being an entrepreneur. There's so many things that you need to do. But consistency is definitely, when I look at people on social media and doing other things. It's they're consistently posting. And Jenilyn, you have it going on. I've seen your group and I've seen your videos and other things. Just keep doing that. It will click. It will click. I promise you. So just keep going at it. If you ever feel down, just reach out to someone, reach out to me, reach out to Mike, reach out to Bert, because it's easy to be really hard on yourself too, and to feel alone. And so it's nice to have a couple people where you're just like, oh man, I'm just not getting it. And then just pump you back up. Anything else you want to say, Bert, before we go on to another question?
Yes, sure. So I guess she goes by Jing. So with this business model that you have, I'm assuming you are the coach, right? You're the one teaching all these clients, right? So the way I would grow this to create leverage down the road is to train other coaches to do the teachings for you. They don't have to come to your studio or your home. They can teach it from their homes. That's how you leverage this, okay? However, you have to make sure that as far as keeping your clients under your business, under your roof, you have to make sure that there's no non-compete. I mean, there's a non-compete for whoever you hire as a coach. That's how you would leverage this, okay? As far as execution, I think Emma touched up on that. Acceleration, as far as hiring more coaches, the problem with that is you cannot hire other coaches unless you have enough clients that they can coach, right? So that's where Emma comes in building your clientele and doing some marketing, networking, like she mentioned, okay? And then obviously no huge overhead. If you're doing it, online, then there's no huge overhead. You can use any platforms for teaching your coaching online, right? So I think that's my opinion for your business model. Does that make sense? Huh?
Yeah, I like it. Okay. Elsa is coming in here. She says, how can we pursue telehealth with our current home health contracts? Just like, I don't know what EMESSO is, but
that's her company. I know Elsa. Okay. Elsa, that's her company, and I can answer that. So basically, Elsa is asking, how can you incorporate telehealth with your home health contract business? I actually just saw an article shared in Facebook about this. Problem with telehealth in the home health scenario right now is, I think Medicare is considering a reduction of payment if home health agencies are going to do telehealth. And so they're kind of fighting that with CMS, okay? I haven't heard of any home health agency that will pay contractors like us for doing telehealth, okay? I have to pursue that. Now, Elsa, if you have that information, feel free to reach out to me. You know where to reach me. And we'll make sure that they pay telehealth. Okay, if they do, then you have to consider how much is the profit margin. Is it worth doing? Okay, if there's no profit margin doing telehealth, then why do it, right? So, and then she said Medicare Part B is not bad. The reimbursement is good, and I can now get other therapists to see patients. That's exactly what I was talking about. With Medicare Part B, you can expand, you can accelerate, you can start hiring PTs, OTs, and SLPs. Now, the only thing with Part B, you cannot hire PTAs and CODAs to do mobile Part B treatments. Why? Because they require direct supervision, okay? And there's no point staying side by side with a PTA, or if you're an OT with your OTA, to do a home visit, okay? There's no point doing that. So now you can only hire PTAs and OTAs. Let's say, for example, if you leased a room inside an ALF and you are in the facility, you are in the building seeing patients, and they also see patients within the building, then yeah, you can do that, okay? But make sure that that room in the facility is registered as one of your clinics under Medicare, okay?
All right. Lots of really good information there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nana says, for Medicare B, is the credentialing done per state or region? What about also as well with Tri-West and Tri-Care?
Okay. Medicare Part B, it's actually per state and region. Okay. What I mean by that is for every region, there's a governing body that will take your application. Like in Texas, there's another provider or a contractor with Medicare that will take your application. For Massachusetts, for Florida, it's different. Okay. So what the government did is they outsource different companies to take care of different states, and they divide them by region. Okay. So if you're considering to apply for Part B for a certain state, okay, reach out to me and I can tell you, we can talk about how you can execute and do that. And I'll point you in the right direction. Okay. Now, as far as TriWest and TRICARE, that's a totally different thing. And my friend and my student Elsa will be able to help us with that. Maybe one of those, we can do another webinar for that, because TriWest and TRICARE is a whole different animal. Okay. Elsa, if you can type on the, if you're still here, type on the chat, refresh me again, TriWest and TRICARE, what's the difference? Okay. Because they're different. Okay. Now, the other question is, do you use a person for billing or an EMR integrated with billing? Okay. So I personally prefer WebPT. They did a demo and they're kind of expensive, but the cheapest version they have is $59 if you just want to use their SOAP. And then I have my billing company that I work with. We're teaming up together, where they would bill for me, and we're also going to be serving clients that are doing Part B. So if you want to talk about billing, reach out to me and we can talk about how we will do that. Okay.
Awesome.
But
And Tony Mariotto is coming on, and he is amazing at billing too. So
right.
He'll be one of the speakers as well. So make sure to look for that and sign up for that talk, because there are a lot of nuances when it comes to, especially even with COVID right now, all of these changes.
Right.
That's especially why I got him on, because there are so many changes with telehealth. There are some things that aren't as clear with these e-visits, and so he'll be talking about that soon.
Yeah, Tony is a friend of mine. He was also one of my guest speakers in one of my events. Tony is very good at teaching you how to do the billing yourself. Okay, that's his cup of tea. Okay, if you want to do the billing yourself and save money, so you don't pay out any percentage, you don't share percentage, then Tony is the guy. But I'm different. I think differently, and I respect Tony for that. But I just have different ways of doing it. I don't want to deal with billing, even though I can learn it. I just want to keep the 90%, have somebody deal with it.
Well,
Okay?
I also think it's your comfort level too, as
exactly.
There are a lot of things that can go wrong with billing. Billing is one of the most important things,
Right.
because that's how you get your reimbursement. And so it comes again, once going back to the lean method, your financials. If right now you can't afford that 10%, then, do it yourself. And then as things become busier, then you can outsource it. I mean, that's what we're starting to do with alternative healthcare careers. I did everything. I did the website, the emails, and I'm still doing everything. That's why you don't see me as much in the Facebook group, because I'm doing all the back end. But hopefully, as things get more streamlined, then that will become the job of a VA. So it's okay to sort of dip your feet in the water slowly and ease out from doing every single task in the business.
True. So Elsa answered the question, the difference between TriWest and TRICARE. TriWest is for veterans and TRICARE is for active military personnel. So there you go. It also includes government employees. I don't know what's GS. Do you know what's GS?
It could be the grade scale. So there's certain pay scales. So I think that's what maybe she's talking about is like, government employees versus maybe different people on the pay scale. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
But great.
All right.
Well,
any more questions?
Awesome. Good. Well, thank you so much, Bert. This has been so helpful. Everyone share lots of love with Bert. Go out there and share the Remote Therapy Summit. We're really here to help you. If you have any questions, go find Bert. One more question. Of course. Go ahead and post it. And once again, the replay will be up. It should be up in hopefully tomorrow. I'll get that up online, and I will have the link too for the free worksheet on the Remote Therapy Summit on Bert's talk page. But let's answer this last question here.
Do you see a question from Shilpa?
Yes. Oh, great. So a couple people watched the replay. Awesome. Thank you so much, gentlemen. So Nana asks, what about the secondary insurance? MedP covers 80%.
Okay. As far as I know, the 20% of the secondary insurance, if you use a billing company, they take care of that. They take that info and then factor that in. Okay. I'm not a billing company, so I'm not the expert to answer that. But Tony will probably answer that on his talk. I'm pretty sure. He's a great guy and he knows what he's doing as far as secondary insurance and primary insurance and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's very complicated. So look out for Tony's talk, Nana, and I will make sure to write that down as something that we cover. Is what about secondary insurance?
Yeah. Shilpa has a question. I'm thinking of practicing reflexology as a coda. Any suggestions? And I think Mike answered with a question. Are you a reflexologist? Okay. So I guess if you are the reflexologist and you have the license to do that, then why not? But then again, you have to ask yourself, lean method. Okay. Is there leverage? Are you going to be the one doing it, or can you hire another reflexologist to do it with you as a team, or someone working for you? So it all depends on what you want to do.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway here, everyone, just to recap is, analyze what your goals are, analyze your financial situation, analyze, your personality, and then based upon that, what do you want to do next? And then when you think about the business model, whether it be, mobile home health, whether it be Medicare Part B, whether it be all these different models, then as you're going into it, then think about, well, how can I scale this? And how can I make sure that, I'm only doing a small part and then other people are helping me and doing other tasks. It's okay to do the big tasks, but try to think about how you can delegate. And if the business has more capacity to delegate, then that is a better opportunity. Right, Bert?
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bert. I really appreciate it. Everyone go check out rehabpreneur.com, right, Bert?
Yes.
Yep, rehabpreneur.com.
Rehab and preneur, a combination of rehab entrepreneur. That's why it's rehabpreneur. So.
And I'll put all the links below, and I'll get those replays up really quickly. And, just lots of love to Bert. And please continue to share this remote therapy summit so that more healthcare entrepreneurs and just more healthcare professionals can, figure out what's the next step for them and how to recession-proof themselves. Thank you, everyone.
That's right. You guys stay safe. And I just want to encourage everyone, okay, stay positive, okay? Do whatever you can to stay busy at home, exercise, spend time with your loved ones. This is the right time to talk to your significant other. You have all the time, right? I believe these too shall pass. Yeah. Okay. We are human beings. We're the highest form of creation that can solve problems. We will solve this thing and we will come out on top of this. I believe that.
Yep, 100%. This is going to be better in the long run. I feel like this is actually going to expand more opportunities. We've all been feeling really burnt out and frustrated with the lack of opportunities. I think this is going to expand and give a lot of people opportunities to maybe grow telehealth within their clinics, grow telehealth on your own, create new roles like maybe, like a safety person or a PT or an OT or an SLP educator. All sorts of different roles are going to come from this. So just keep being positive, keep doing what you guys do, and we will see you in the next episode, which is this Friday. So tune in for how to learn how to create a virtual Pilates studio. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Emma. Appreciate everyone. Bye now.